Peace, 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 family. Ooh, I got sick earlier. I had to end that stream, and I didn't really say everything that I wanted to say. So, a couple of the people who commented on that, I hope you guys come back over here and listen to this one. Just something I wanted to say for Father's Day, a word to the wise. First of all, shout out to all the fathers out there for doing what y'all need to do, for being in your children's lives, for being in your wives' lives, your girls' lives, your girlfriends and all of that, who you lay down and had babies with. I appreciate you, and I'm pretty sure other people do appreciate you as well. We don't want to forget about you, even though we got knuckleheads running around here doing some stuff. Okay, I'm gonna keep that right there so y'all know what kind of stream this is gonna be. So I don't want to slight that because of what I saw for Mother's Day. Yeah, y'all wished us a happy Mother's Day, and then acted like y'all had lost y'all damn mind with the conversation. I was like, really? This is depressing and angering and oh god, frustrating. But hopefully we won't do that today. I mean, I had an idea after I saw what some folks did um, for Mother's Day. I said, let me get the sisters together. Just something in my head. So let me get the sisters together and peace D. Let me get the sisters together and we gonna do the same thing to them. Okay, we gonna say Happy Mother's Day and then we gonna talk a whole bunch of damn shit that irritates the hell out of him. Like men ain't shit and this, that, and the other. But I thought about it, right? I said, nah, I ain't gonna do that. I can't get the sisters together to do that. They wouldn't, they be done told what's going on and stuff, right? But anyway, um, again, happy Father's Day. I got to give that same credence. I don't have a poem or any music to play for Father's Day because I don't have one of those. But I do have something that happened this past week that kind of inspired this stream right here, as in a word to the wise. Okay. Um, Hold on. Me and Seven catching her ball, so I gotta just throw it. She's off the leash in the truck stop, so I'm hoping she don't, you know, end up in traffic or nothing. But she wants me to throw that ball. Either way. So here's something that happened that had me kind of thinking about some stuff, and I didn't get irritated. Shout out to my own father, who hopefully is still out there somewhere. But as I was saying earlier, there was a situation last week where we couldn't find my daughter, one of my daughters, and um, the information was sent. I think it was sent by my baby girl, and it was supposedly a message that was sent from my grandson to my son and daughter's father, and he could not remember my number. We had talked before, so um, locked his number in. He locked my number in supposedly, but he couldn't find my number, and he wanted to find out if I knew anything about my daughter or was aware of what was going on, because my grandson had said that she had been rushed to the hospital. Okay, and there was this insinuation that it might have been something pertaining to unaliving herself. Okay, so you know the hunt was on, the anxiety, the concern, the panic, all of that was going on, and I had his number, so I called him. He didn't pick up. Text him. I said, this is, and I gave him my name. Call me back. And then I went and looked for him on Facebook and called him through that particular service as well. He didn't pick up. So eventually he calls back, and now I can find out what happened, what's going on, that kind of shit. Well, we were talking about it, parents concerned about their adult child, in this conversation, in this situation. My ex said something about, let me make sure I get this right, how he avoided child support all those years. Word to the wise, baby. Word to the wise. Okay? I said, wait a minute. In my mind, I'm in the conversation, but in my mind, I'm going, Is this motherfucker gloating because he didn't have to pay child support? You do know I got two children by okay. Oh, this is interesting. Just shit going through my mind at this time while I'm dealing with the truck issue. So he started boasting about how he didn't have to pay child support, how he got caught up with one, but he didn't have to pay child support. And it really is a boast. I said, oh my God. I said, okay. So everything went through for the situation we was dealing with. Phone call ended and everything. We had a little conversation. I was like, yeah, you did pay child support. Um, some $20 that he gave back in '91. Mind you, my children are between 30 and 40. And he talking about how he missed, whoo, I missed that thing about child support, because they 18, right? I said, okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. But anyway, as it goes on, we locate her, thanks to my baby girl and her diligence, because she's the only one that really could do it at the time. Excuse me. We find her. She's okay. The family's okay. Okay? Family's okay. She's okay. Just to let y'all know that. It wasn't anything along those lines. And there's still some questions that I need answers to, but it's not pertinent. Just her being okay is the main thing. All right? So when I find out that she's okay, contacting my younger daughter, I let the family know who I had had told of the situation the day before that she was okay. And I specifically called him and said, she's okay. Okay. She's okay. Um, no details was given because no details were given to me. And that's the way we wanted it. That's the way my baby girl wanted it, because of whatever conversation they had had. It's cool. Don't know any details. Don't know what a conversation was about. She's okay. She's home. And the boys are fine. My grandchildren are fine. Because we were really concerned about a lot of stuff. All right. So I tell him, she's okay. He says okay. Good. I'm glad. Blah blah blah. We end the phone call. I get a phone call later on from my daughter's father. My daughter has called him. So she's talked to my daughter. She's talked to my ex, her dad, and I have not received a phone call yet. But it is what it is. Okay. I'm gonna call her shortly. So he starts to tell, what she talked about. And I said, I don't think it's wise for me to know any of that. Okay. When she wants to tell me or what I need to know will be told to me the way it needs to be told. He likes to gossip, if you would. Just he was going into some detail. I was like, no, I don't want that information. So somewhere along the line, he gets to boasting about he got caught and paid for child. He had to pay child support for another child. Mind you, I have his oldest two children. Okay, um, but he got caught by somebody else for child support. He hid from mine for the longest. All right, peace, power time. Uh-oh, seven in the bushes. Okay, and so that he got caught. That he did pay child support. He didn't pay it for my two. Right, and so something comes down the line where, and he says something about getting away with not paying child support, that he don't owe me shit. Ooh, he ducked that bullet. I said, oh no. I said, you can I said, you could apply it to my social security at this point. He caught me. He caught me on the day. I said, you could apply it to my social security. He said, oh no. He said, oh, I'm old. Start talking about how he decrepit and he ain't gonna live long and all this other shit. I said, well, just don't die before I do. Okay. Because my mindset was, I'm gonna rob the grave of your ass. I'm gonna pull you up and shake change from your pocket, pull rings and gold off your neck and fingers, whatever the fuck. Just thinking in my head, just clowning and shit. So where do you go from this? He said, wait a minute, you didn't get that child support I sent to you? I said, you mean that $20 you sent me back in 1991? He said, my lawyer didn't get with you. You know, because he's a character. We all got a little bit of a sense of humor. It's really funny if you really pay attention to it that we all kind of the same. Um, so he's like, my lawyer didn't talk to you. I'm gonna have to get with him. I say he probably dead by now, okay? Because he's talking old and decrepit and shit, right? So it was just funny. It was funny, okay, along these lines, right? So conversation goes up a little bit more, and then there becomes this part where he says, I told him, I said, I gotta go. I gotta fix this load. I gotta get this load. Somebody's calling in. I gotta take care of it about this load. So he says, I've been trying to give you a load for 2 years. Now y'all know what that's about, right? Y'all know. Yeah, it is what you think it is, okay? Um, so he's like, I've been trying to give you a load for 2 years. I was like, and he kept pushing this, to get away from this child support thing, or that he owes anything, or even that part of her little frustration of what she going through is because he wasn't there. Okay, he daddy now. He wasn't daddy then. Okay, and I've been trying to give you this love for 2 years. And he said it one time too goddamn much. I said, he goes right back to the day that another conversation had, and I said, ain't that ain't it spoiled by now? Okay, and I can't remember. I remember, but it's not coming out right. I'm walking, breathing, all this stuff. I was like, ain't it spoiled by now? I'm just throwing quips back at him and shit, right? And you could hear him just get defeated, like, oh my God. He said, I called you on the wrong day. No, you called me on the right day. I said, I ain't the same person I used to be. Okay. And it's a word to the wise. In that period 2 years ago, man, I'm gonna tell y'all truthfully, I used to love this man. Okay. I used to, yeah. And so when we got back in contact with one another, it was like, ah, there he is. There he is, just walking down the street. There he is, And there were some thoughts that I had. And then I had to say to myself at one particular point, you know, if you do that, and y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all grown. I said, if you do that, and ain't nothing about this situation changed, nothing advantageous for you other than, the satisfaction of that thing. I said, you're going to prove to him that you're going to show to him that you haven't learned anything in 30 years. Not a damn thing. That the same game that was being played back then that he's playing now, he can still play and get away with it. Old gigolo. Okay. So it didn't happen, you know. And I felt better. I felt good because it didn't, even though I wanted to. I was like, oh, you know what? V, you right. All money ain't good money, okay? And money ain't good for you. Not that money right there, okay? But that's the load he's talking about 2 years ago. I'm like, ain't that shit spoiled by now? Just to throw it off. It took him off. But here's the thing. It made me think about fathers who sometimes don't have a clue, okay? Because he's daddy now, but he's daddy on his terms. He's not daddy on her terms. He's not obligated to me anymore, but his son that I had for him, he doesn't even have a relationship because my son caught it. Okay. He said, you ain't been here for so many years and you want me to bow down like I'm your son and we have a father-son relationship. He said, I'm a man now and you haven't raised me to do anything. Okay. You haven't been there, you know. Um and I know that shit, when my son had to tie his tie, I didn't know shit about tying ties. We had to get somebody to do that. And sex education talk, they don't want to have that education talk. I had to be creative in having that talk. There's certain things that boys go through that they need their fathers, and there's certain things that girls go through that they need their fathers. And coming back in at a late time and acting like you've been there all the time because you just, whew, duck this child support. It's like I can't believe that's in people's minds, and I couldn't even believe that the man said it to my face, like he didn't even realize who he was saying it to, because the situation with my daughter. This is a word to the wise. This ain't an attack him. This ain't an attack all brothers. It's just a word to the wise. Part of the mindset that she has and what she's going through, my daughter, is because her daddy wasn't there. Okay, her baby sister went online and hunted until she found that girl's their father. And they found him. Okay. But and this is no shot on my daughter. I understand a lot of things about this. Um, but sometimes the things that are broken can't be fixed on the surface level. You have to make a true commitment. And some of us don't have the maneuvering room and the freedom and the finances to fix what we fucked up when we were young, dumb, and full of all of that. Um, so the word to the wise is this, just to put that story out there. The word to the wise is to um, basically pay attention to the little things that you say to your family, your loved ones, your children, because I don't think it even registered with him that he was boasting that he never paid child support to the one he never paid child support to. My feelings didn't matter, her feelings didn't matter. It's like, y'all realize how many things sometimes our children can't do, can't go through, can't have an experience because the other parent is not there. The one that supposedly makes all the money, the one that is supposedly in charge of the household, the one that is supposed to protect and you're supposed to depend on. What do you think that does to a child when you know either they don't have it or it's piecemeal together? Now, see, with my daughter, I can say it's piecemeal together. But like I said, with my situation, among my friends and family, not all of them, but just a particular group, um, I knew my father. I stayed with my father. I have experiences with my father. Some people don't have those experiences that I had. Some have greater ones. Their father was in the house all the time, but my mom and dad were divorced from as early as I can remember, and it was a volatile relationship. I understand it, but I still had time with my father. Some people don't get that, and um, you know, it's a different dynamic. And to see, like my ex, boasting about child support is the same way I see some of these brothers that up here talking about they're men and they have children that they've expressed their prowess, but they're not being responsible about making them good citizens, making them moral individuals, because sometimes you see that some of those brothers, not all of y'all, but some of them brothers don't have that good moral common sense. They just needed notches on their belt, and that's what they use on social media to gloat with some other brothers about how much of a man they are because she had a fat ass and she got thick thighs. And have you heard the brothers that y'all having one conversation, the video pops up, and you know a little leg and a little ass shows, and the next thing you know they go off into la la land like a dog that ain't been trained, talking about, oh, them yams. Excuse me, we were talking about finances. Okay, excuse me, we were talking about history. We were talking about anything other than what you just saw in your visual. Brothers do better, ladies do better. Okay, there's a video that I wanted to play yesterday in the midst of the songs that I played from my niece and Crystal Crave. There was another couple, some other female artists up there, and as much as I wanted to play that video, I said, You know, if you put that video up there, they're going to be distracted. That they're not going to be listening to the message that is in there. They're going to be looking at the visuals that they see. Sisters twerking, but talking about how they're in control and in power, but twerking. And it's never going to resonate the way that you think it's going to resonate because they can't get past the visual. They can't get past their own egotistical, self-centered, self-absorbed sexuality, if you would. Okay. Um, so my word to the wise, my word to the wise. My homeboy said he been holding the load for me for 2 years, and I came back and said, "Ain't it spoiled by now?" I know he had a girlfriend because in the conversation he couldn't find my phone number because he had my phone number under just on my initial. And when he said yes under V for Venom, I said, yeah, Scorpios do sting. And that's what caused me to start stinging his ass with these little quips. Yeah, pulling him up, dropping his ass back, shaking his pockets, robbing the grave, spoiled ass loads and shit like that. It's like, nigga, you ain't holding no load for me. And after I was thinking about it, I'm cracking up. I'm telling other people about it. And I said, don't nobody want this. I said, somebody, who was it? I can't remember who it was. One of my friends, family or friends, um, started coming doing some comebacks, and we started clowning like, man, that sperm is in wheelchairs. Okay, that motherfucker blind and stuff like that, one crippled and shit like that. Don't nobody want that old ass fucking sperm. Okay, you know, just. I hope y'all get it. I hope y'all get it. Okay, just a word to the wise. Be a little more caring and concerned about, you know, what you bring into the world other than just it's Father's Day and you supposed to honor me. I'm a man and you supposed to honor me. Men do man things. And that's more than just laying down with a woman and getting his pleasure, you know, his needs met on that, you know, with what they call it, with great responsibility, authority comes responsibility or something like that. Means you gotta be there for the long haul. Okay? You know, fathers do shit. Fathers teach shit. Fathers are there to protect, to show stuff, and that's for sons and daughters. So I don't see a lot of brothers and sisters jumping out the window today going, Happy Father's Day. Because the sacrifices that mothers make. Y'all done came out the window, came out for Mother's Day. But Father's Day, y'all know why y'all not getting all that praise. Y'all know why y'all not getting all that praise. And it ain't because some sisters are upset because they was raised in single households with mother. I'll put it where it's supposed to be. It's because y'all wasn't there. Y'all stopped doing the things that you wanted to do and you slid into the things that society wanted you to do. And that's why some of us are a little screwed up out here. We got issues. And should it be a coincidence that mental health month this year, if it's true, I heard somebody say it, is it true? If it's true, that mental health month is in the same month as Father's Day. Hmm. Smoke on that pack. Okay? So again, this isn't really to slam anybody, just to give y'all a real life example of how sometimes brothers don't have a clue in all the things that they say, you know, because y'all don't get it. If you can sit up and call women all kind of bitches and hoes and thoughts and tricks, and you can discount her and this, that, and the other, don't you realize you have the same mindset for your daughter? You just look at her like she's part of you and you own her and you're grown up sperm and all of this. But at the same time, if you have that attitude about women, you internally have that attitude about that child, that sister that's gonna grow to be a woman one day, and you'll make a compromise some kind of way. Oh, she's grown. When he trying to beat her ass, the person that she selects, when he doing her dirty, when she can't stay in a good relationship, blame that shit on yourself too. Okay? because she was looking for an illusion of a man that was never there. And she's holding on to anything because she thinks that that's what it is, because you never really told her the truth about what a man is and what a man is not. You left it open for her interpretation. And now, like on our situation, we're fighting tooth and nail to wake a sister up because of the illusion. So, family, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Just, it's light, it's not heavy. It's really not heavy because y'all gonna do what y'all do, just like we went on and kept living after Mother's Day, with all the foul ass shit that was said, okay? And all the lack of concern that was there, the lack of praise. Don't expect no praise today if you wasn't praising back then, okay? So that's what I got for Father's Day. Let me grab my glasses. I can't see shit. Let me get Seven some water real quick. Get out the flow. Move, Effa. Move. Um, get Seven some water here and grab these glasses and take a peek at what y'all said in the chat. I saw something pop up, you know. Oh yeah, but I think I hurt his feelings. He probably still thinking about that dead ass old ass sperm that he trying to give away. Nobody want that shit. Talking about he got my number. He had my number hidden because of his girlfriend, but he ain't her. She ain't his girlfriend no more. She ain't here. I bet she ain't. Yeah, you ain't changed. Okay, and you can't blame this shit on the alcohol. Okay. Anyway, all right. There you go, Seven. Get your water. All right, what you say right here? You said I'm cold because it's a fight to be there. And damn, this thing is in the way. Let me push one up. See what. See if that goes through, so I can see your comment. Um, it's I'm cold because it's a fight to be there in their lives. I get it. What you say, truth be told, and any of us who find ourselves before CPS have failed each other and the star seeds. Yeah, I mean that's another one. I had to go through that shit. Oh my God, I had to go through that shit on a humbug. Okay, but I did everything I had to do to get mine back because it was bullshit. Like I said, I thought my mom would come about the grave, not my dad. My mom would come about the grave and whoop my ass if I didn't take care of mine. Okay, and I made those sacrifices, and now sometimes people don't like where I'm at because I haven't been there. Um, but then when they look at it, they can say, "Hey, mom, we didn't go without a meal. We didn't go without a roof. We didn't go without clothes. Yada yada." Because even though they daddies weren't there, most of them, their daddies weren't there. Um, I tried my best to make sure that there was a community to raise my children. Okay, in other words, good men that were there to be father figures, ones that I respected, not thugging and being out in the club at night. I mean, we fought in the household, but hey, that was part of some of our shit that were growing up. My mom and dad, they fought. My mom had to shoot my dad in the leg. Um, and for those of you who don't know, I lost my mom because of domestic violence, and it wasn't my dad that did it. But these are the things that we have to fix some kind of way. Yes. Who is that? Powhatan. It might be difficult to be there. Send them a card. Send them a gift. Okay. Put a life insurance policy together. Put their name on it so that when they grow up, they got something so that they can realize that you were there in the background, in the distance, anything. Okay. You know, those are things that we can do. Those are things that's hard to do because we're like, fuck it, you don't like me, I don't like you. I can't this, you can't that. Make the sacrifice, put it up, put it back if you got time. And if you can't do it for them, Do it for their children because their children, your grandchildren, are still part of you. Okay. A lot of us have some form of mental illness from whatever reason, and some of us have abandonment issues for whatever reason, and some of us have codependency tendencies for no reason, or for a reason behind things that happen. Okay. So while I say, and I see you, Copper Goddess, happy Poppy Day, I say happy Pawpaw Day because even when my father or my sister's father or my children's father weren't all the way there or whatever, or my father's father wasn't all the way there, my pawpaw was there. Okay. I can look back at my pawpaw, my grandfather, and see what a real man is, see what a real man does, and know that he stayed with my grandmother the whole time. And he adopted her first two children and then had two with her and always took care of my grandmother. And we could always depend on Pawpaw. And Pawpaw raised men. My uncle are men. Okay, they up in age and one is gone, but back in the day, them brothers, them brothers went out on a limb to make sure that their sisters were taken care of. But they were uncles. Okay, daddies aren't supposed to act like uncles, meaning you're not there all the time and they can't depend on you. They never see your face. They know you're there somewhere in the great world, but you don't do much for them. Daddies aren't supposed to be uncles. They're supposed to be daddies, fathers. So shout out to my pawpaw, okay? And men like my pawpaw, okay? And shout out to the rest of you, the ones that, like my dad. See, sometimes when we talk about it, we also have to remember where people come from. You know, I couldn't understand why was y'all always beating my dad's ass. Why was my dad always doing this? And why did a lot of things when I was a child I heard that I heard when I was a child. And then when I got older, I started evaluating it, and I said, "Oh, my dad's dad wasn't there, and they got that old Southern belief system and this, that, and the other, and my dad is being targeted because he's a, excuse my language, black male, and he didn't get educated because X, Y, and Z, and he's fighting a battle all his own, and he was raised by two very domineering women, and he's pushing back at society, his own frustrations. I get it, okay, but just because I get it don't mean that you know you gonna get me or mine. I can't go into details about that, but I started to understand what he was going through. And we can't change the past, but we can indeed change the future. Okay. Um, and we do that by being there. We do that by sharing the stories, sharing the things that we feel. We share that by being fucking honest. And sometimes we don't get to that honesty. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this alone, but let me put this up here so that y'all can check this out. Hey, Philly. Um, on my videos, I think it should be up. I put a video up from something that was on Facebook. And as I said, I saw the movie Straw. Okay. I'm not giving the movie away, but I did want to critique it. And there was a video from Sherry's talk show where they were talking about the movie. And uh, Tyler and her, I didn't even know Tyler was the one that did that. Tyler Perry was the one that did that movie. That even makes more sense, and I ain't gonna critique him hard on that. But um, they they have been talking about the movie. Tyler and Sherry. Sherry was in this show in this movie, and so was what's her name, Tiana Taylor and Taraji P Henson. They were all in this movie, and excuse me if I forget any of the other actors and actresses. But they were talking about this movie, and so I got a chance to critique, give my assessment of what I saw with the movie. I encourage you guys to go and read what I wrote. Actually, you don't have to read it because I actually read what I wrote and what I put on Facebook about that movie, and take that to heart, okay? Because the nuances are interesting, but sometimes you got to dig deep to get it, okay? Surface level says, I got to wait with child support. Deep level says, you're going to pay with your life. Huh. You want to do it right? Put a life insurance policy together now. You throw some money, not just words, feel good statements, thinking that your presence now as a grown man is can make up for all of the shit that was going on. No, nigga, excuse my language. You are being punished just like I'm being punished for our decisions. And we can't fix that because we didn't do it right in the beginning. And I know he ain't around here, but that's part of it. Okay? If it, flowery words and grandiose statements aren't going to do it. We got to dig deep to see some other things. And I saw something in that movie Straw that you guys might be interested in seeing. And if you haven't seen it, read my post. I'm not giving the movie away. And then go watch the movie and see if you can catch it. Because to me, it deals directly with the shit that we be doing up here. We talked about maybe 4 months ago. And then everybody fell off of it. Yeah. So go check that out, y'all. But that's what I wanted to put up here again. Happy Father's Day to the fathers. Mothers can stay in there if y'all ain't got them men in your life that's doing what they need to do. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we have to do. But do that. And in some aspects, believe me, it's better to have no man around than to have a bad one around that's going to teach or treat your children in a way that they don't want to be treated. And that's where we have to get two sisters. Like I said, when I crossed the line, that was one thing. But now that I'm on this side, I'm like, you mean I didn't have to do none of that shit back there? And there's some freedom in just not doing anything. And I don't have to ask for permission. I don't have to have a discussion about this, that, and the other, and da 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 da. And interruption of time. Yeah. Trust me, sisters. Give yourself time for you and yours in that order. If it's still just you, give you your time. But if it's you and yours, make that a priority. Okay? Because we can tell that some of them, all they want to do is hit it and quit it, put a notch on their belt and keep on moving and fuck what you're going through. And we going to be the butt of every joke and the human tragedy. So, family, it's your girl Navi. I'm going to get on out of here because I still got to get these loads. Got to see if I can catch this load tomorrow. We think we found something. Um, Also, I'm sorry, this is the forever close. Y'all know how church folks do, right? So, um, yesterday I said that, if y'all want to hear about trucking a little bit more, this, that, and the other, load board, drop some information in the chat, the comment section. Nobody did that. Okay, no, nobody did that. So we had a private StreamYard meeting on yesterday that was not viewed on YouTube, looking at the load boards and how the loads work and this, that, and the other, going through the tutorials that were there. And it's funny because the tutorial was shorter than what it took for me to explain what they had just explained. But the people who were there um, understood, even though they weren't in trucking, they understood what was going on. So much so that my daughter came back. She said, "Mom, how many hours, how long does it take for you to get from here to there?" And so I was able to break a little bit of the formula down of how to assess that. Um, you know, um, but they got a good look at it. They understood a little bit better what I'm talking about and got to see the numbers and the things we're looking at and why. So we had that meeting yesterday on a private StreamYard meeting, okay, where we actually looked at the board and what the board offers. Whew. That being said, I got 3 lows that might get me where I need to be, but I got to reach out to these brokers to see if I can get them. Okay. So, family, this is your girl Navi. I'm gonna get on out of here. Bitch, gotta go to work, that kind of shit. And I'll talk to y'all later. I'll see y'all around. I'm gonna be listening as I do what I do. But I gotta do what I gotta do. All right? Until it's done. Okay? So peace, family. Love y'all. Y'all take care today. Treat each other right. Okay? Shit. Somebody you don't know, treat them right. Okay? You know, maybe even apologize for some stuff you did wrong. Either way, be better. Peace, family. I'm sorry. Let me ask y'all a question. Y'all want me to drop the link so y'all can get a. No, no, never mind. Okay. I'm out. Talk to you later.